Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cubist. My name is Bill Corey. I am the Cubist, and it is time to break down the Bill's Birthday Bash, aka Granite Game Summit. And so, of course, we're going to talk Granite Game Summit. We got to talk some of the awesome people that were there. First, as always, my awesome co-host Kimberly Revia. Hello, Kimberly. How are you?
Hi, Bill. Good. How are you?
Outstanding. I am finally over my con hangover, which is exciting. We'll talk about that in a minute too. And rejoining us, he was here on the pre-con version, so we'll get a before and after from Mr. Patrick Hillier. Hello, Patrick.
Hello. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you for being here. And last but certainly not least, we have friend of the show and game designer and all-around vibrantly blue man, Mr. Daniel Newman. Hello, Daniel. How are you?
Hey, that's me. I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So we are going to talk all about Granite Game Summit tonight. We are not going to do the cop-out like we did 2 weeks ago, though, when we were leading up to the show, because we were all out of time. It was the night before I was traveling, and it was the week of the show. So Kimberly and we just were up to our ears in prep for the actual convention. So we kind of just did a fly-by-night 2 weeks ago. But this week we're actually back to our regular format, so this will be awesome. Which means the first thing we got to do is talk about stuff that we have played lately. What? Kimberly, you want to go first this time? Are you feeling brave?
Oh, I hate your face.
I know, but that's
so
all right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then I can
let
go.
me just look things up on the side, like.
All right, then I will go first because I have gotten in the last couple weeks. You're welcome. I've gotten to play Viticulture from Stonemaier Games, specifically with the Tuscany goodies. So for lack of a better term, Viticulture is what I would consider a very worker placement game, meaning it has all of the sort of stereotypical hallmarks of worker placement, right? You know, there are X number of actions. You're going to want to do more of them than you can. So you put a worker there and claim the spot, yada, yada, yada. Of course, it being named Viticulture, it's about making wine. So the idea is that you'll want to plant vines in your fields and then harvest the fields and then crush those grapes into wines and then fulfill orders, which are worth points. And the game is sort of a race because the first person that gets to, I think it's 25 victory points, triggers endgame, and then the person with the most points wins. So it's not what I would think of as the sort of typical point salad-y type point chase games, in that, you know, I'm going to get 30 points here and 50 points there. Every point feels really like a big deal. What I think Viticulture does, especially with Tuscany, and so this is going to be the tricky part, right, is that Viticulture, when it was originally released, was one game. And as soon as Tuscany was added in, it sort of changed the game really fundamentally. It took what was a very standard worker placement game and jazzed it up with adding like a million different modules. And I didn't play with, they have like a campaigny sort of bit, right? Where like you're supposed to play with this module this time and play a couple times, then play with this one and open this thing. Yeah, we didn't do that. The guy that taught me Tuscany just handed me all the things and said, here you go. I'm like, okay. So I kind of jumped in the deep end of the pool, and I absolutely loved it. And I was really happy because I had played the base game when it first came out and was really underwhelmed. Like, to me, it just felt like every other worker placement game. I didn't see anything special. The theme didn't really do much for me because, you know, I'm definitely not a wine enthusiast. I don't mind. It's just, you know, that's not going to do it for me. But Tuscany really added enough extra bells and whistles that it felt like a really satisfying and intricate and interesting game. And so on the Cubist scale, I'm going to give this sort of 2 ratings. With the base game Viticulture, to me, is a forget it. The reason that I hadn't revisited it until recently was because I thought that it was a very forgettable worker placement game. There are a lot of other worker placement games that I thought were better than just base Viticulture. It's fine. It just wasn't anything special. With Tuscany, it becomes a buy it. Like, it jumps all the way to buy it. I think it's excellent, and it might be my favorite worker placement game in recent memory.
Oh, wow.
It's really good because those modules allow you to add in as much extra complexity as you want into this game to really put the amount of meat on the bone that you want out of your play experience. So if you really want just kind of a chill, let's just play and it'll be easy for an hour. You can do that. If you want something where you've got all the crunch.
Oh,
The crunch of something. So who else has played Viticulture?
I've played Viticulture. I don't remember if it was with Tuscany. Maybe it was parts of Tuscany. It was fine.
Yeah,
I played it.
I don't know what I had.
It had. I know I had like the mother and father at the beginning, which
Yeah,
gave
I
me a
had
very
that.
cool start, and maybe a couple other things. But I mean,
Like,
yeah,
are all the little buildings in the
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
if they're
those
in the
are
base, but I had those too. So it must have been part of it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fine. I mean, it's one that I've never purchased. I played it once and was like, again, like the theme doesn't do a whole lot for me either. And there are
No,
others I'd
I
rather play.
like viticulture.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I like it quite a bit, but
Am I back?
Now you're back.
All right,
We're talking
cool.
about Viticulture.
Yeah.
you see your face.
Yay, my face. And here's the thing. I don't think that Viticulture in its base format is a bad game. It was just kind of there. Right? Like I wasn't seeking it out to play it again because it was just a game, right? There are cards and sure you can play them, but it didn't feel like it had anything really extra special. And the little wooden bits were kind of cool, but that was about like as far as it went. Tuscany just added that just a little bit extra oomph to it that I really feel like make it stand apart and make it a thing that I actually look forward to playing again. So, and I'm probably going to buy it. So to me, it's a buy it for days.
Well, all right.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Go.
No, I was just gonna say it's been on my like pick up if I can find cheaply or in a trade list for a long time, and it's not something I've necessarily am seeking out, but keeping an eye out.
I think this might be where I've sort of developed a new budgeting system where I have X amount of discretionary. I'm just going to go nuts and buy game stuff every quarter is what I'm planning on. G2S, I blew through all of that because of the convention itself. So that now I'm in quarter 2 now, so that's exciting. But I feel like this is going to be my big purchase. I think
It's not a bad way to do it. Like monthly seems tough, right? Because things come out, in clusters.
Yep.
But like giving yourself a quarter budget, that makes a lot of sense, I think.
And compared to the austerity that I did last year, I'm already being super generous with myself, right?
Right.
So I'm calling it a win.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, you got to go to Goodwill to buy a game for a quarter. What are you guys talking about?
Oh, Patrick.
See, this is why you can't be Patrick.
You invited me on.
You did invite him on, Bill.
I think we all
This is
did.
your fault.
Yes, I know. It's fine. Whatever.
But look
All
at
right,
his little face.
Patrick, you and your little face need to talk about a damn game now because that was terrible.
It was horrible.
Yes.
Well, I got invited over to my friends for Easter. We don't have a lot of family in town, and neither do they. And so they invited us over, and they have a very small boy, Toby, who is 3.5, and that gave me an excuse to go to my local hobby store and go to the my friendly gaming store and buy a Hobbit game. And I picked up Go Cuckoo, which went over very well because it's sort of Easter theme with little eggs in it and pickup sticks. And we broke that out and played that while we were waiting for Easter dinner to get finished cooking with Mom. And I had a good time. So I don't know what it is on the Cubist scale. It's definitely a play it game.
Okay.
Definitely a buy it, if you have kids.
Okay.
It was probably a little advanced for him. I'm not sure he totally got it. At 3.5, it says 4 to 99, like every Hobbit game. It's actually a little harder than I thought it would be. I mean, it was.
So do you have to pick up eggs with chopsticks? Is that sort
no?
of
So you dump all these sticks into a can, and it forms this sort of nest. And the sticks have 1 to 2 colors on each end, and you have to draw them out, trying to get a stick with the same colors on each end. And if you do, you get to put an egg into the nest. And you're trying to get rid of all your eggs by placing them into the nest. And if you cause one of the eggs to fall, you get to take one from one of the other players. So the first person out of eggs wins.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's kind of like Kerplunk is what it reminds me
I was
of.
going to say, it sort of reminds me of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, without a 2, but it's cute. It's really cute. And it's got this little wooden, we didn't get far enough along in the game to use the the cuckoo, whatever. It's got
The what?
it's got a wooden bird thing that you add at the end. But we were just having fun saying the names of everything. Go, cuckoo, little 3-year-olds.
Nice.
So yeah, we had a good time with that. So
Very cool. And what's the name of this again?
Go Cuckoo.
Go Cuckoo
By
from
Haba.
Haba. All right, and it
comes in a tin. It's like a 3-inch round by 12-inch long tin.
It comes in a round tin.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
It is. It's horrible.
I am on board. There are a lot of people that like ranting about box sizes and shapes, and I am one of that tribe for sure. Like that makes me crazy when I can't figure out where to put things. So
it's a Haba game.
I know it doesn't. That's very good.
It's very well. I mean, it looks painted, and it's almost like art. Could sit on your shelf as art.
Yeah, and I guess I can't be too much of a hypocrite, right? Because I'm super jazzed about my fancy dancy cribbage board, which is round and is in a bag for crying out loud. So
that's the same one that Sobel had.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
it is.
Gorgeous. That's like an heirloom piece.
That was part of why I was really excited to get it as a birthday for my dad. And I bought the fancy cards to go in it.
Very nice.
Really nice cards. So yeah. But screw that. The Haba game you know what? I've just recently sort of started paying attention to Haba games. I don't know why, but for somehow it was just one of those things where I never really noticed them because I don't have kids, and that was weird as far as my brain went with it, right? Like I don't have kids, I'm not going to play Haba games, but the more I hear and see them, I mean, besides Rhino Hero, I don't feel like that one
I mean, Rhino Heroes, obviously they're all, I mean, the dexterity ones are all pretty good for adults too.
There's a pretty wide range of Haba stuff. I mean, some of it's really meant for very young children. There's not much game there, but there's I mean, there are some that even are kids games that are still really playable.
Sure.
Monza is one of my favorites. It's very simple, but like you have a bunch of dice with different colored faces and you roll them, and then you have to move your car around a track based on what colored rectangles you can move into. And it's actually it's a really fun game to play.
It's like I play it like automobiles. I actually put my little dice out just like I do the cubes and automobiles to sort of help me track where I'm going.
Yeah. No, it's smart. Like for a kid's game, it's super smart. That one I never mind playing.
I played. What was the one that we played at G2S? Honduras.
Oh, that's a new one, and that's more for like a family game rather than that's like a new line.
That's their large line. The big box geared toward like tween type age kids.
Right.
Well, and then they're doing Karuba and
Adventureland.
The scary one.
Yeah, Spookies.
Those have all been getting very good reviews from like Brandon and Risley, who have kids in that age group.
From the What Did You Play This Week podcast thing, of which Patrick is a contributor, and theoretically so am I. Sorry, there was your cheap plug.
There you go.
All right, Daniel, you're up.
Last night. You let me talk, Kimberly?
Get her, Daniel.
Right,
don't let her get away with nothing.
So last night, Anne and I played Grand Austria Hotel. We recently started a 10x5 challenge.
Oh, nice.
Partly because I keep putting new games in front of her and not ever bringing them out again. So this was a way to kind of pick a few that we're going to make sure we play the same ones, and then she knows we're going to play from those.
Yep. Oh,
we lost Daniel now.
I say it wasn't me this time, right? Because I can see other people moving. Very good. So to pick up where he left off, I'm doing the 10x10 this year, actually. So have you guys adopted any of these challenges? I think we talked about it on a previous episode, but I don't.
I'm doing a 52.
You're 52x1?
No,
so
it's
a new game every week.
It's actually one I heard about on the Our Turn podcast. So there's 52 unique challenges that you're trying to meet, like a game with a year in the title, or a game with a holiday in the title, or a game based on a movie, and they're all specifically written out and somebody came up with. And it's just a fun, different way to do it instead of a specific number.
That's cool. I wonder how many I can get Terraforming Mars and shoehorn.
Well, you can't use the same one twice.
Oh,
I used Terraforming to fill the most cards.
Okay, that works.
More than 100 cards or something like that.
Sure. Hey, do me a favor, Patrick. Send that. Maybe post a link and tag the Cubist in it or something like that.
Sure.
To a link to the document, if you would. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And therefore, lovely viewers, if you are watching this after the fact or whatever, follow at Cubist Podcast on Twitter, and you'll see that thing. Oh, and there goes Daniel.
Daniel just died.
He's got a link. He'll be able to jump back in when his internet finds him, like I was earlier. So, Kimberly, that means you're up.
Oh, yay, me.
The
the only things that I played recently, I have already reviewed. So to go back to G2S, where I played New York Slice, which looks like it was designed by Jeffrey D. Allers. Totally not reading the BGG page. Look away.
Look away.
It is an you cut, I choose, or I cut, you choose game. A little bit of set collection. They're like anchovies that are negative a point. They'll appear in certain slices, but you can eat slices or keep them for your set collection things. Brandon from Gaming for Justice whooped us. He absolutely destroyed everybody. He did really well. He went with the anti-set collection thing and just ate the most pepperonis because you get a point per pepperoni and just destroyed everyone's faces.
It's interesting.
Wow.
Which was not even slightly the same game I was playing. So it's really cute. It has really heavy cardboard pizza slices. They're pretty realistic looking. The rule book is a menu. It comes in a pizza-shaped box. The detail is really good. I think the price point is kind of high. I believe it's a $40 MSRP.
And that seems like a little much. Is it because the gameplay or?
Yeah. I mean, component-wise, it's nice. It's all cardboard, but it's nicer than your typical cardboard. $40 is a little high, though. I think you can get it for like $25.
Okay.
The cool stuff. So.
And it's so on the scale, buy it, play it, forget it, or burn it. Assuming the $40 price, the MSRP, assuming that you can't get it cheap.
I would, no matter what, I would rank it as a play it. It's not a thing that everybody would need to own, or most people would need to own, even probably. But it's enjoyable.
That's cool.
Pretty easy to teach. Cute. I would play it again.
Speaking of cute, there's Daniel again. Hi.
Aww.
So before we leave the slice, I think I'd heard that's a remake of Piece of Cake, which I played years ago.
Oh, I'm not sure.
And also,
I happen to be on the BGG. Let me peruse.
And do they make a gluten-free version?
Good news, you don't have to eat the slices.
Oh, okay.
It's so much fiber. So much fiber. Yeah, no, I saw pictures of it that you posted from I think the G2S play, and it looked really cool.
It is. It's very pretty.
I am always a fan of games with good table presence, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I made my pizza all windy and pretty. So yeah. Oh, and Matthew says it is a re-implementation of Piece of Cake.
Well, there you go. Perfect. Daniel, you're back. You seem to be connected well.
Yeah, my router crapped out.
Yeah, stupid router.
But it seems to be working okay now.
Yeah. So far, you look great. So you were talking about Grand Austria Hotel and your 10x5, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we set that up so that it would make it easier for us to play games together.
Sure.
Because I was overwhelming her with too many new games. So Grand Austria was on our list. She had not played it before. I had played it once before, and I wound up, I think, more than doubling her score. She said she'd play again. So I think it was one of those things where it's an easy game to kind of mess up early and kind of screw yourself the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So
and I think that might be the designer's hallmark. I'm blanking on the designer's name. But.
Yeah, well, it's a co-design.
It's a group.
And one of them has also done Voyages of Marco Polo and Tzolk'in and Lorenzo Magnifico, right? Actually, they exchanged. I can't tell who's who. I don't know if Tzolk'in is the same person or not.
Okay. I was going to say, Tzolk'in's actually a remarkably forgiving game, considering how tight it ends up being, compared to the other ones that you're describing anyway. At least
maybe. I've not had
doesn't have a screw you track.
No, that's true. But I have not had a good time with Tzolk'in a couple times. The problem with Tzolk'in is there's so much going on that I don't know what a good decision is.
Yeah.
The entire game. Like it's just not at a point where like there are some games where halfway through I'll be like, okay, now I understand what I should have done 3 turns ago. Sulkin, I'm just like, oh, the game's over now. I have no idea. And I've tried playing it a couple times, and I think it's one that you need to study a bit, and I don't play games often enough to do that. But that's been my experience. A lot of people love it.
Jump shark, my friends.
What was that?
Go back to your game. You have to finish describing Grand Austria.
Oh, Grand Austria. So it's a dice drafting game essentially. You one player rolls a bunch of dice. You separate them into the different. Each die face is a different kind of action, and then you separate them into those different actions, and then players can take one of the dice, and depending on how many are in that action space, that's how many times you can do that action, right? So game, you just go back and forth. Or no, that's not true. It's a snake draft, right? So it's 1, and then the next person is 2, 3, and then the first player is the 4th action. You're bringing in customers, and you're trying to satisfy cake and coffee and wine and what's the other one? Strudel. Yeah. And
sure.
then you want to get them into a room. So you have to open up rooms basically build rooms in your hotel, and then get the customers into your rooms. And that's how you score most of your points. And there are different colored rooms and different colored groups, closed, etc. Lots of moving parts. Great game. I think it's one of my top 10.
Like all time or recent?
I mean, all time for now.
Wow.
There's a lot of mobility in that.
Sure.
I was talking earlier with a couple folks. Kimberly was one of them, actually. And I have about like 30 or 40 games that kind of rotate in and out depending on which I played most recently.
Makes perfect sense.
So,
all right. So,
but yeah, that's up there.
So I'm gonna assume I'm gonna bet that I know what your rating is going to be, but on the Cubist scale, buy it, play it, forget it, or burn it.
Oh, it's definitely a buy it for me. Absolutely. Yeah, solid game.
So I really like it. It feels a little bit to me like an early Feld design, right? Like it has sort of a Feld-ish feel to me, at least I thought so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the lots of moving interconnected parts definitely is something that happens in a lot of Feld games. That's probably why I like it.
Yeah,
because that's what I enjoy in games.
It wasn't just that either. It was the little bit of disaster mitigation, right? So there's which is a very common thread through a lot of his games. Is there's a bad thing?
Yeah,
there's a bad thing coming. Make sure that you are ready for it. You know.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like risk mitigation is a big part of it. And then you got like Year of the Dragon, which is nothing but risk mitigation, which makes me want to cry.
And you know what's funny? I generally don't like particularly punishing games, but it's all about managed expectations. And I like In the Year of the Dragon because I know that I'm going to spend 12 turns getting punched, right? It's just a matter of, can I duck enough of them? You know, can I dodge more blows than you do, so to speak? So I think it's all about just knowing what you're in for.
Yeah, I mean, I played it once, and it was at FeldCon last year, and I didn't realize that's what the game was, and it just felt awful. But I have a copy now, and really enjoyed it. So we're gonna play it at some point, and now that I know what I'm getting into, it won't feel as bad, I think.
I don't own a copy anymore. I traded mine to Anthony Ricano from the Cardboard Jungle. But I remember playing it a lot, and I remember it being a pretty satisfying 2-player. So that might not be a bad choice on your 10x5.
Yeah,
because
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good at 2. So
okay, yeah, I played it. I think at the full player count, and it was.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
You could just start by beating yourself over the head with the box, and that would be slightly less painful.
Yeah,
that's really rough.
No, I was nearly curled under the table at the end of that game.
That is the most downtime.
It was so bad.
And not just downtime, but a number of chances for you to get hosed by everybody else doing all the things. Yeah, it's bad. It's
not a game that I would play at 4 players ever again.
Nope. Like 3 or 2. I think 2 is probably the best.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking Year of the Dragon or Grand
Austria?
Austria?
I was talking Grand Austria. I haven't played Year of the Dragon.
Oh, okay. I thought we were still talking about Year of the Dragon. No, Grand Austria, I've only played it 2, and I've heard you should.
It's okay with 3.
Is it?
It's a little slow, but it's not too bad.
I am occasionally AP prone too. So even at 2, like Anne was chiding me to move along because I was like, well, I could do like 3 of these things, and I need to figure out which one I need to do. And so, yeah, no, I don't imagine that would be great at more than 2.
Right on. But it is a solid game, and it's off. I like it. Has a really neat table presence because of all the little, like, as goopy as it sounds, the art style and the people sitting at the tables just really works. Like, I don't know why, but for some reason, visually it works really well compared to a lot of. We talk about it all the time, but it doesn't have to be super fancy to just look really clean. And I think this one's got a really solid aesthetic. So,
and a lot of even the little dudes have names, like they're designers and.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
I think characters from other games too wind up showing up, which is kind of neat.
For sure.
I may still enjoy Voyages of Marco Polo more.
I do.
But they're both really great.
I'm probably going to play Lorenzo Il Magnifico again tomorrow, and I will report back next week on that one. I did a little bit of a sort of a hot take midway through my first game where I was not a happy camper. So I'm going to try it again tomorrow and see if I like it. So I'll weigh in again on this one next week. So I'm really curious about how it stands up to a second play, but I like that style of play in general, for sure. All right, let's talk G2S. So Granite Game Summit was 2 weekends ago. It hurts my brain that it's already been that long. This was the convention in Nashua, New Hampshire, of which Kimberly was part of the triad of planners. And it was AKA Bill's birthday bash. We talked about it 2 weeks ago on the show, so I won't bore you too much with the thing, but I got some swag. Yeah. That's right. See, I told you I was going to wear the shirt.
Good job.
Yeah, no, it's so this is a 3-day con in Nashua, and we all attended it. And some of us, like, we were all there sort of in different capacities, right? Like, so Kimberly was there as the organizer, but also got a chance to play a bunch of games, right? Like, I felt like I saw you at tables fairly often.
I didn't play a whole lot, but I played some. I made sure I got to play a little bit every day.
Right. Well, that's a big deal. I was there as both an attendee and as the panelist for the live Flip the Table episode, their last live show. So
we were all also at that.
Yes, everybody attended that, which was awesome and terrifying. And I thankfully didn't make too much of an ass out of myself, which was exciting. I don't think I didn't say any word that rhymes with duck, so that was exciting.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And then the gentlemen here were there as now. Patrick, you were strictly an attendee.
No, I was a media superstar.
Oh, that's right. You were a media superstar. Yes. And Daniel, were you in the Designer's Alley thing?
He wasn't the last one, not this one.
Not this one. Okay, that's where I was confused because I didn't get a chance to see Designer's Alley at all.
Me either.
No, I didn't have anything in the Designer's Alley this time. I just wanted to go play games.
Solid choice. There were enough of them to play. So let's start with the easy stuff. The convention as a whole, we all had a pretty good time. Like, Kimberly, you don't get to talk about this because it was your convention. Of course you think it was amazing. But I feel like I'm kidding, whatever. If you want to complain about your own convention, you're allowed.
That's right. Damn it.
Damn it. No, but it was a really fun convention. Like, I had an absolute blast. I wanted one more day, which is always a good sign, right? Like, usually when I go to BGG, I'm ready to go home on Sunday. Like, I'm good. I've got my 5 days. I'm a happy boy. Get me in a car. I'm solid. This one, I was ready for another day of it. That's, to me, that's one of the good, like, just a sign that I'm having a great con experience. Is there anything stand out that like was a really like watershed moment for you guys in the show? Like, something that you really were like, "Ooh, this was awesome."
Epic Eclipse.
Yeah. Thank you. See, I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. I mean,
it was good.
It was
so I had some traveling woes getting into there, and we were worried it wasn't going to happen, but we got there. We got started a little bit later than we wanted. There was, I don't remember, 6 of us.
There were 6. Yep.
Molly, Ruth, Eric, Mike. Now, how did Mike get roped in? Was he just wandering around looking for a game?
He was just wandering around, and we were like, yes, we would like, because
I didn't know that. That's how Mike got in? That's cool.
Yeah.
Five-
I was after
five
about
is
an hour of playing with Mike, I realized he didn't know any of us.
nope.
And we were being our weirdo selves, you know us. And I had to stop and say, Mike, we all know each other, and and I have to apologize if we go over the top here.
You mean like when somebody at the table refers to orbitals as space boobs? Is that the part you're
Yes.
talking about?
That was kind of part
Is
of
that
it.
one of the things that you needed to explain? Would that be a
Yeah.
thing?
That'd be the thing.
Oh,
And
That's
so-
the only thing, because I'm impressed.
that was,
that's the
no,
only
that was
thing.
one of many
no,
things.
it's not.
One of many things.
Patrick has
And-
earned a lifetime admirer in my girlfriend Molly.
Oh, God.
Because at one point, about 2/3 of the way through the game, Patrick looked at and shouted a less than complimentary word at Molly, having never met her or really interacted with her at all. And Molly,
Well, she was going to attack me.
and she did attack you.
I know, she deserved it.
And
I think you probably deserve the attack too, Patrick.
yeah, you absolutely did.
Go away.
No, I was sitting there very peacefully in my owning half of the galaxy.
Yeah. Let's just say that the word rhymed with witch.
Yes.
I figured that was the case.
Oh no.
Was said at a loud enough volume that the table next to us, like the table.
We lost Bill. All right. So anyway, it was epic. All right. So who hasn't played Eclipse? We'll just describe it real quick. It's a 4X, right? So you start off. We had 6 randomly assigned races, and I didn't get to play yellow, which was okay. I was playing some purple alien races that had a boob icon on their display.
You can't play yellow. You
Yeah.
gotta play boob.
Yes.
I mean,
and you start off by exploring, and eventually you connect with each other and become space buddies or start battling each other, and then there's this sort of center super bad alien in the middle that you might fight. And Bill had every single expansion and possible thing in promo in there, and every card we flipped over, half of them had something crazy we had to look up and get an explanation of, and it caused some weird thing in the game, and it was always just pretty cool. And so Daniel, the chat is over in the YouTube side of the things.
Yes, the chat that you're looking at is just the 4 of us chat.
But yeah, there's a whole. Did you guys know there's a bunch of weirdos in the chat room, like weird stuff? I didn't know that happens when you're on guest on the show. So anyway, so you start off with lots of room, right? So the first half of the game or so, or third of the game, you're exploring, you're all being all friendly to each other, but you run out of these tiles and you have nothing better to do than to attack each other. So it was like Eric attacked me first just to see what attacking was like, because he and I had never played it before, and he lost. And then we ran out of room, and all of a sudden Bill and Molly and Ruth all attacked me like on the same turn and just almost crushed me. And I was like, well, this stinks. But I had built up enough kind of savings of resources and rebuilt my army, and just it was like the second to last turn, and went and attacked the center bad guy, beat him, and that was enough points to win the game. So it was pretty wild. It was pretty cool. So, but it's like a 6-hour-long game, and we stopped in the middle and went and got changed for dress up and Fancy Friday, and we took a break and played coconuts in our fancy dress up clothes, me and Eric, with Mark, one of the organizers, and all that. So it was pretty epic. You know, we knew what we were getting into, and the fact that it grows over time is, I think, what keeps you engaged. That the game definitely changes. It's not like 6 hours of the same thing. It definitely is. It is a pretty, like I said, it's just pretty. It was pretty wild. So
it was pretty epic.
It's pretty epic. It was pretty epic.
What about you, Daniel? And Bill's internet dropped completely. He'll be back when he can be.
Yeah.
But Daniel, did you partake in any events that you would like to talk about, or any moments?
So I got to play a lot of heavier games, which I was excited about.
Yeah, we have a really heavy crowd actually at GTS.
Yeah.
There's always a really big crowd of heavy gamers.
I did not have any trouble finding people to play heavy games, which is
that was
great.
nice.
I got in Mombasa and Kanban and Nippon, none of which I'd played before, so that was really awesome. And they've been on my list to like check out for a while. Trivia was great.
We dominated.
We
so.
had the best team and the best smack talk.
We were
Yeah,
still
we
stuck
did.
in clips during trivia, I think.
Yeah. So that was super
Stuck?
fun.
Not stuck.
Stuck.
We were still battling,
Yes, that's
fiercely
better.
battling.
We took over the fancy trivia. It's fine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we did. I showed up and then everybody fell away. It was
I'm terrible at trivia. So as far as I'm concerned, I dodged a bullet because I would have just felt like an idiot.
We did have 6 people, which meant that we pretty much covered all the nerd bases.
Sure.
We were max capacity team size.
Yeah. And there were some grumblings, but they were just mad because they didn't have enough friends, I think.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's really what it was.
Yeah.
So that was super fun. Just hanging out with folks that I don't get to see very often. It was like, I don't know. It was good. I'm glad I went.
Well, and that's a common thread, at least for me, with all conventions, right? Is that's half the reason I go to these things is I'm getting to see people that I interact with online at best, or sometimes not even as much there,
Mhm.
It's just so it's such it feels trite and it feels like a cliche, but it's also the truth, right? Like it's just as much about the people as it is the games, at least for me.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah.
And getting to meet a lot of people in person for the first time, like Ruth. I'd never had a chance to meet Ruth before. We had talked. I had met all 3 of you before, and a bunch of other people through Hangouts or whatever. But getting to meet her and getting to meet Jason Lees finally in person, Mersa Major, and just
right. You had never met any of them, correct?
any who?
The Flip the Table crew. You hadn't met them.
That's true.
Oh,
Yes,
building.
they had been on the show. I had the entire panel from Flip the Table on an episode of the Cubist back in the audio days, but I'd never met any of them face to face. So that was a treat.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, that show was so much fun. Was it as fun from the audience as it was from the stage?
Oh yeah.
It was. We
It was really good.
We were having a blast up there. Although we were cooking, like I was medium rare by the time that show was over. Because
You were right.
guys
You
had
guys
that
are
window.
right in those sun windows. Yeah.
it's like so like moderator Chris said, okay, so here's an atrium. Let's put all of the panelists with direct sunlight beating through glass on our backs for 2 hours. That'll make for. So I think we were all just happy to get the hell out of there when the show was over.
That's not where I thought you guys were going to set up, but that's fine. It worked. For the audience.
Yeah, it worked. It worked great for you guys, and we were.
And it was great.
We were dramatically lit, right? It was good.
I'm still very honored that we were able to host the Flip the Table's last live show ever, their only complete live show with all of their panelists. So
Yes,
Yeah, it was super cool to see that.
it was a lot of fun. And now
all
I
the
have.
deals.
And now I have a Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge of the Harlem Globetrotters video game.
No
That-
spoilers, Bill. Has that aired yet?
I've been
No,
telling
not yet.
people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm
Patrick.
reasonably sure that the secret has been spoiled long before I
Yeah.
said anything. Plus, I think it drops like in a couple days, so I don't think.
So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
I actually got to play it with Chris too in the morning. He called me
Oh, really?
over and asked me to play with him.
I'm sorry.
I know.
We really, I tell you what though, the game itself was. Well, I don't want to spoil too much of the show. Listen to the live show. If you have not
It'll drop
listened
soon, I
to.
think.
If you haven't listened to Flip the Table, the podcast, you really should. And you've got about 112 episodes to catch up on because they really do amazing work on that show.
Yeah,
It's just
really
it's really good stuff. And what's neat about it is that it is a truly one of a kind. Like as far as gaming podcasts go, there is no other show like it, and not just from a content standpoint, but also their quality is just out of this world. Like it is a really easy listen.
Mhm.
It's easy on the ear. So tableflipsuit.com. Go check them out.
Absolutely.
We love those guys. Very good. Very good. All right. So by the way, I'm sorry, my internet dropped, Patrick, while you were finishing up your review of Eclipse. Would you play it again? Just because I want to know.
Oh, I definitely would play it again. Yeah. I don't know if I would buy it. I just don't know how I'd get it played or anything like that.
Sure.
But I would play it again. Sure.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm definitely the freak show here that spent all the money on the game, and I'm okay with that. Like everybody's got their one passion game. That's mine. So I definitely, I wouldn't even tell people to spend as much money as I have. Not even like nobody needs to do that. That can be me. It's cool. All right. So let's see. Flip the table for me. Daniel, what was your landmark moment trivia? Was that your big?
I mean, I guess, yeah, that was cool. It's seeing folks and playing those games.
Yeah.
And
I was
getting the
excited to
bigger
play.
games in.
Yeah, playing the heavier games like that was
Mhm.
great. Finally getting Kanban to the table, and
Kanban
that was
is
the
Matt
biggest
taught
thing
you
for me. I
wrong.
think. Even though Matt taught me wrong, but we're playing online now and we're fixing all those mistakes. So
That's good.
Oh,
We'll have a
Matt
rematch.
taught me a game wrong too. Matt.
Matt taught me again wrong too. Matthew.
Jeez, Matt.
I mean, I went around telling everybody how great a job he did teaching us that game.
That's
It's
funny.
difficult. I've had to roll back all of it.
I know,
Matthew's
right?
also sick, so we should maybe be nice.
No,
Hi,
No, no,
Matthew.
you can be nice
He's
because
very
he's your
pretty.
boyfriend. That's fine.
So
Yes.
pretty.
Yeah, whatever. We don't care. It's fine. Yeah, oh man, indeed. Whatever. Yeah, no, it was so the interesting thing for those of you that weren't able to attend, it's going to be are there going to be 2 G2Ss a year, Kimberly, or is that
So we are still actually technically within our first year. Our first one was last May. We had 2 single-day events and then this multi-day. We are announcing our next single day probably within a few days here. And we will definitely have at least 1 single day a year and 1 multi-day a year. I'm not committing to anything above and beyond that.
okay? That's fair. That's fair.
But we are trying to lock in the dates for the next 2 multis. So we can be announced and
Okay.
official.
Should I leave billsbirthdaybash.com aimed at the Granite Game Summit website? Is it going to be near my
Sure.
birthday again next year?
I will know next week.
All right. There you go. Find out for yourself next week. It's a really good con though. And as Eric Buscemi pointed out in his segment that he was talking about on What Did You Play This Week? When we talked live on Saturday night, he pointed out that there aren't a lot of conventions in New England right now, which is
Not
odd for
actual
me.
board game focused conventions.
Right. That just seems super weird. How is that not a thing out there? You guys have population density for days. I mean, compared to where I live, we've got conventions like every 150 miles. There's a convention around here. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
There's an organization in New Jersey that runs Double Exposure that has like 3 or 4 conventions a year, different themes.
But they're not all game focused either, though. They're RPG.
No, yeah. So Dreamation, I think, is a mix. DexCon, I think, is a mix. They do Metatopia, which is a designer playtesting convention, kind of like Unpub, but much more structured. I think do they do another one? That might be it. It might be just those 3.
It's just those 3, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of they started out more RPG and board games will be becoming more of a part of it. I think it's the last few years, but
It just
I mean, weird.
And it just seems odd considering the population density is the only thing. I mean, as you get
No, it definitely is. We filled a gap that used to exist slightly with Unity, which was like a really big game day, which is initially what G2S started off as.
Okay.
But we always had the intent of making it like a multi-day, but we didn't expect it to be as popular and grow as quickly as it was and has. We were thinking like 3-year plan, make it a multi-day. Instead, we went 9 months.
Yeah. Well, you invited a lot of celebrities like Patrick is really what it came
That's
down.
right.
Yeah, media superstar Patrick.
Yeah, you get media superstar Patrick along.
Brought everybody in. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
He brings all the boys to the yard.
Boys,
No, never mind. I'm not. I forget it. Sorry, I'm not going there. All right, cool. Yeah, no, it was.
It's funny. I just became lactose intolerant.
Outstanding.
Yes.
It's a really good convention. 24-hour. That's the other thing we need to mention, right? It's a 24-hour con, so the one room never closed. The other room did, which was weird.
Well, next time the room, that was not the initial intent, but people didn't feel good leaving their things unsecured. So we already have a game plan as to how to lock a certain, put your stuff in this area if you don't want it left out.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I was like, wait, what? But
it never overfilled. If it had overfilled, we would have flip-flopped the rooms for Saturday. So, I mean, the overnight gaming never overfilled.
Sure.
So how did the library
every night? So, sorry, what, Patrick?
I was just going to ask, how did people feel about the library? Did you have any issues with that? It's kind of a new thing for me to see at a con.
Oh, it's pretty common around here for our few cons. But no, we didn't have any Nobody's missing a game. Nobody's reported anything. We had one game go missing from the first event, and we posted it on social media, and right away somebody saw it and delivered it to the person's house.
So for viewers that don't maybe know what Patrick's talking about here, the library was user generated. So people would bring their games, put them on a table. Yeah. And then you could sort of quote unquote check out a game from anyone's collection. You just return it where you found it. And that's actually how the Gaming Hoopla started too. That was the library for the first couple of Hooplas. Was all of us that were organizers just brought our entire collections and set them up. And we had 3 games walk in the very first time we did it. So you're already you're already ahead of the curve.
No, we've only ever had one game, and it was resolved very quickly. I have given one of my games to the actual G2S library on accident, and then my partner took it. Took us 2 seconds to figure out.
Sure. Well, and that's the other thing to mention is that the G2S has its own library as well.
We do have a library. It's only about 300 games currently. It's all due to generous donations from people like Bill and the Rourkes and Ben from Dice Breakers. And we have our Play to Win library, which varies per convention. We usually have a sizable Play to Win library too.
I won nothing. But I got a shirt and a cake. I got a shirt and a really good carrot cake, which the debacle of the carrot cake was really funny, right? So there was going to be, Kimberly had made I'm getting a cake. That's awesome. Cool. Where's the cake? I don't know. It's over there. Well, it's 11:30 at night. This is a weird time for cake. Okay, well, that's fine. It'll be there. Okay, where's the cake?
I was like, I can't put it in my fridge. It won't fit.
Wait. What's wrong with 11:30 at night for cake?
This is what I said.
I think it's the perfect time for cake.
I wanted to share it with my friends who were all not there anymore. Was what it was. It was it was like herding cats at midnight, getting everybody in one room. Are you kidding me?
Wow, that's fair.
So by the time Sunday rolled around, the cake still had not made its debut.
Oh my gosh, it was Sunday?
Yeah,
it was Sunday morning.
Molly and I got the cake Saturday night. We took it to the room to get it out of the way because we were like, there's no way this cake is going to make it yet another day sitting on this table. So we brought it down Sunday. And I made moderator Chris cut it. It was really funny because I'm like, hey, Chris, come here. Look, you want to do the honors? He's like, sure. And so I handed him one of the tiny little plastic knives that we had bought at the grocery store. And he's sitting there sawing through the cake, didn't realize there was plastic on the outside. And then that was an old debacle. But it was really good. It was really good. It was awesome. The hashtag, it was funny. It was like G25.
It was supposed to say G2S 17.
Yes, and it said G2517 instead.
I mean, that's
definitely a 5.
That's pretty close.
That's close. Yeah. On the bright side, in 500 years, they're going to look back and go, "What is that?" All right. No, it was a lot of fun. And it was a much needed vacation. Molly and I don't get to go to conventions very often together because I'm self-employed, and she is the person that covers for me usually when I go to shows. So this was us getting a chance to spend a weekend off doing stuff. Oh, and by the way, this is the other thing that I wanted to say really fast. Nashua is a great town for a convention.
Thank you.
Like, there's a ton of food options there, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially considering that now I have to start planning for BGG, which has no food options.
No.
Like, there's a shuttle to a Target, and then there's the hotel restaurant.
The hotel the entire time.
I don't usually.
You ate so many just hamburgers, right?
Those burgers were actually quite good.
Yeah.
That's good.
To be
you
fair,
ate a lot of them.
To be fair, if you're not celiac like Kimberly, the restaurant in the hotel isn't bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you are gluten intolerant, it's sad times for you. So
There's like 2 things I can eat.
Right. Well, and we will take you grocery shopping again because there you go. So we're driving again this year, so we'll have a car. That'll be a thing. But yeah, the food was awesome. I had Indian food for the first time ever. Dude, we come to southeastern Wisconsin. Welcome to where I am.
I live in New York, so I'm like, I have Indian once a week.
This is the closest thing to like a true Wonder Bread portion of the country as you will ever find, right? Like, it's real bad here. So like I had falafel for the first time, out on that trip as well. When Kimberly was kind enough to give me a tour of Boston, I'd never had falafel. I'd never had Indian food. There was really good food options.
I got Eric Chick-fil-A for the first time.
Yeah,
I had Chick-fil-A for the first time.
So I know people were
really
so
good.
excited to Chick-fil-A next to the venue. Yeah.
Well, and that's weird, right? Because I've had Chick-fil-A a bunch, even though they don't exist here because I've traveled. But that's a Southern thing. Like Chick-fil-A is generally south of the Mason-Dixon line. They're everywhere, and
It's
I
like
had to
6 months old or something. It just opened.
Yeah, and is it worth the slight self-loathing you have to go through to eat it?
Yes.
Yes, it absolutely is. No, I agree.
I felt really bad about it.
I have a tiny amount of guilt,
delicious.
and I still eat it. Yeah, I know. We're bad people. It's cool.
Yeah, we knew this.
Oh yeah.
We're all terrible people.
Some of us embrace it, Patrick the Paladin. No, but Nashua is a great town port. I had the roast beef. That's apparently a thing up by you guys.
Oh, good. Where did you go for roast beef?
Molly, I have no idea where Molly went.
Oh.
She went and ran and grabbed lunch and brought it back right before the Flip the Table show. So I ate it in about 12 minutes. It was very good. I think it was because I pretty much had to inhale it. But yeah, it was. So I had that as well. So I did all of the things that you're supposed to do when you go to New England.
You got the fresh cut seafood.
I got fresh cut seafood.
The roast beef.
Did all the things.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I had a lobster roll at the airport.
I know. I saw. And was it good?
It was really good. It was really good. It was like $38. It better be good.
I had so was that a clam roll that I had?
You got a clam roll.
Okay, there you go. So I had a clam roll. Everything I had involved clams.
Yeah, you did have a clam day.
It was clams for days. It was fine. It was very
Daniel
good.
got crabs.
No crabs for me.
No,
that sounds right. That sounds right. Oh, really?
No. Got crabs. Oh, Patrick.
No, I know what he's saying.
I know.
It really is just easier to bulldoze through Patrick's bad jokes and just pretend that you don't understand them than it is to see if you acknowledge him, then he thinks it's okay and he does more, right? Like if you just kind of move right by, he's like, oh yeah, nobody's doing that. Cool, we're good. So all right. So so it's a little bit self-serving because obviously one of the organizers is one of the hosts of this show. And I don't know if I would call myself a guest of honor, but I definitely made a big show out of going to it and had a really good time. But I really can't recommend it enough. If you are anywhere near New England, go to G2 and go to granitegamesummit.com and check and keep up on the stuff because it's a really, really good show. It is. As small cons go, I think it was well organized. As long as you can get that second room open 24/7 so you don't feel like you have to get chased out of a room, I think it's awesome.
Oh, I'll chase your ass out no matter what. That's just for fun.
Stop. Why?
I mean,
I've always been good to you, Kimberly.
Because she can, I know.
And yes. Oh, wait, it's time for the mean face. Sure. All right. Well,
is that mean?
No, that's she thinks it is. It's cool. She's only got like 3 faces, and one of them is like a bunch of different uses. So, no,
it's mean. You're supposed to be scared. Just shake a little bit, Daniel. Pretend.
Right. It's actually you handle this exactly like we handle Patrick's puns. See, it's the same thing.
Move on.
Right. You just go.
Move along.
Exactly.
Don't encourage us.
Exactly. Now we love you. All right. So it is the Cubist, and I did promise that we were back to our normal shenanigans, which means we have our third and final segment, which is the rapid fire segment. And since Daniel, you are the new guy,
you are.
Patrick is excused because he's already done rapid fire, and if I recall correctly, didn't do too terrible at it. Do I remember that right? Or
I think I did okay.
I think you did all right. So
I think in the history of the Cubist, Mr. Kairos, Steve Kairos is the only one who did very poorly.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the slowest rapid fire on the planet.
It was painful.
I think I can handle that.
It was like he literally at the beginning of it, we said, okay, now no cheating and just repeating the question. And then he literally did that for the first
every time.
questions. So don't
great stalling tactic. Can I do that?
No, you cannot do that. All right. So the rules are you're going to get 5 questions. Each question has to have a different and distinct answer. No cheating.
Okay.
All right. Daniel Newman, game designer, blue hair extraordinaire. Are you ready, sir?
I suppose I am.
Outstanding. All right, Daniel, here we go. Daniel, your favorite worker placement game?
Oh. Worker placement game. Let's say Manhattan Project Energy Empire.
Very good. Your favorite game designer that is not Stefan Feld or you?
Matt Gertz.
Excellent. A game that you want to love but just don't?
Tolkien.
All right. A board game you could easily see people playing for money?
For money. Can't Stop.
Ooh, good choice. And your favorite band?
Oingo Boingo.
Oingo Boingo?
That was on Twitter like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think it's the only album I actually have downloaded to my phone right now. It's Oingo Boingo's Dead Man's Party. I don't know. I listen to a lot of podcasts lately. I don't listen to a lot of music, but
Sure. Yeah.
That's a good album.
It's rapid fire, right? So
Yeah,
it's a solid
that was
and it's a solid
excellently done, sir. Like
That's
I'm
my favorite worker placement game. Is hard.
I know.
That's really hard.
I know. They're not supposed to be easy. They're just supposed to be rapid.
You're just supposed to yell random things and play.
Energy Empire is really good though.
It is really good. I feel like the wheels come off the bus a little faster than I wanted to. Like I want that game to just be like one turn longer every time I played it.
Huh.
I just always feel like it ends a little early. I don't know why.
There have been times where I've been too efficient and I have a turn that's extra and I don't know what to do with it. Because I'm like, well, I already set myself up for everything that I needed to do this round. That game's really good. Totally replaced the original Manhattan Project for me.
Yeah, that's easy. Have you played Chain Reaction, by the way? The card game?
Yeah.
Bill got it in the math trade, right?
I got it in the math trade, yeah. And I haven't had a chance to play it.
It's fine. But like, yeah, I don't know. I'd rather just play Energy Empire.
Right. So really fast, Netters, I agree. That might be our best rapid fire segment ever as far as the most efficient. No, legit. Like that was crazy good. I think you might have lied on one of them, but that's all right.
Which one?
I don't know.
What did I lie on?
Probably all of them.
Yeah, probably all of them, just because you're a shady fella.
Yeah,
it's true. Mostly shades of blue lately.
Yes, exactly.
That was really good.
Thank you, Patrick.
God bless America. By the way, speaking of, yes, I know you did, Matt. I'm actually going to try and play it tomorrow, so we'll find out. By the way, Matt Roy in the chat, is it your fault that I ended up with a copy of Paperback that I didn't know I was getting? Did you do that? I'm calling you out.
Yeah, he did that.
You did that? Well, thank you very much.
I mean, he didn't do that if he didn't want you to know.
Right. Yeah, I had a feeling. So was it Dan that managed the math trade?
Yeah, Dan.
Hey, by the way, Matt put this in the bag and said that it was for you, but it's not on the sheet, so I don't know what happened. And I said, me neither. But now I have a copy of Paperback, so that's amazing. Nice.
He said hashtag Bill's birthday back.
Thank you very much, Matt. Right? Yes. And for the record, we played it that weekend, actually. As a matter of fact, we were Molly and I were inadvertently up till 4 a.m. playing Paperback in our hotel room because she really liked it. And I clubbed her like a baby seal in the first game. So as usual, she said, nope, we're re-racking and playing that again. And then the second game was worse.
That's my girl.
So, yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. We did that.
I happened to be dressed like a seal that day, so I don't know that I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
That euphemism, not so much? All right. That's good.
Not so much, yep.
All right.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the pajama party. Patrick's right.
Oh.
I didn't participate.
Yeah.
I bought a fancy owl suit for it.
Yeah, you did, and I bought a fancy seal.
I can't not talk about the Battlestar Galactica game. I just realized I have to talk about this because I got moderator Chris to say terrible words to me because of that game, and it was great. I have never. He seemed like such the sweet fella, and I got him to mouth words that rhyme with duck at me over and over again because I was the only Cylon. I was the only Cylon in a 7-player game, and I murdered all their faces, and it was great. They were awesome.
I was playing Mombasa and then Macau while you were doing Battlestar Galactica.
You got both of those games in 2 hours?
No.
I
I think it was in the middle of it, like overlapped.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, wow, you are lighting it. If you got
I just remember I was in that room playing one of those games, and I turned around and there was a lot of Battlestar Galactica happening. I don't remember which it was, but it was that. I remember that evening.
All I know is that Flip Flory was still yelling at me the next day about that game. So I'm calling it a win. Yes, and I'm glad that we stayed up and played it too. It's a great game. And honestly, Matt, I backed hardback because I liked paperback so much. So well done. You have spurred on the economy. Really fast before we let go. Kickstarter Brass went live today. You guys backed it?
Oh.
No.
No.
I assume Matthew is.
Yeah, of course Matthew is, because Matthew has good taste.
I didn't actually see him tweet anything, but
Yeah, he will. There you go.
Matt's
All right.
buying like everything. I mean,
Well, I think Matt chooses the shotgun strategy. Is you just buy all the things, and then most of them will be pretty okay.
He's
And
like
then-
saying, he's got no actual
Captain
word.
Buys a Lot Junior. I think.
Exactly. He's the young version. There you go.
I don't buy games ever anymore. There's no need.
Why would you?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
I
say you don't need to. You've
We
got.
can never cycle through what Matt buys. So
And actually, the good captain and I have come to an agreement that we are no longer going to both back the same game, because we always game together, and we realized this is stupid for us to both buy games when we always play with each other. So there you go. All right, we got to get out of here. Let's see, Mr. Daniel Newman. If people wanted to know more about you and the stuff that you are doing, and maybe games that you designed and stuff, tell them where to look for this stuff.
Well, I'm on Twitter. I know, right?
I know,
At DNLNWMN. That's my name without vowels.
Neat.
That's the best place to get a hold of me.
There you go. And then games that you have designed.
So Head in the Clouds from Button Shy is available from buttonshygames.com.
I got that.
Everybody who backed it on Kickstarter should have it at this point. And if not, I think you can order it straight from them. And then I have another game coming out at the end of the year, I think. I'm waiting to hear on some confirmation from the publisher, but he was saying that Mech Chores from Quick Simple Fun Games should be out end of the year.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Patrick Hillier.
I am Patrick Hillier. I'm on Twitter as @OverTheHillier, and I do a blog at overthehillier.com where I blogged about GS2.
No.
GS2?
GS2. G2S.
GS4.
Yes.
Yes.
Letters and numbers. Make it happen.
G2517.
And I'm on the What Did You Play This Week podcast, where I contribute on Monday's show, and I am on our conversation show, which is every couple midweek shows. Every once in a while on midweeks.
What was the most recent conversation thing? You guys just had a really good one.
We had the one with Emerson, I think was the most recent one.
I just listened to part of that today.
Emerson Matsuchi.
Nice.
He's got a nice deep voice.
Yeah.
And coming up soon, it would be Sarah with Renegade Games.
Oh, I love Sarah.
Who we love her. She's been on the show twice.
Mm-hmm. She's a lot of fun.
She's one of her repeats. She's awesome. Miss Kimberly Rivia, where would people find out more about you?
At KJ Revia on Twitter, and at G2 Summit for the Granite Game Summit account, or granitegamesummit.com.
Or BillsBirthdayBash.com.
Or Bill's Birthday Bash.
Because I still paid for the damn website, so I'm
still paid for the damn website. Go ahead. You
That's
click
right.
through however you want to click through.
If you are gonna sacrifice your privacy, you better get all the mileage you can out of it. I am on Twitter at Bill Corey Jr. or the show itself is at Cubist Podcast. Thank you all for watching. Next week's gonna be fun. Spoilers. I haven't even talked to Kimberly about this, but I think we've got some cool stuff coming up. We've got some cool stuff coming up in the next couple weeks. So hit that like and subscribe button if you would. We really, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will catch y'all again next week. Be good.
Bye.